Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to All Roads Lead to Rome. This is episode 46, Party Like It's 214 BC. Players will be on Knossos, getting ready for Helena's party and the peace conference to begin. So, hope you all enjoy the session and have a great and pleasant evening. Okay, guys, welcome back. This is session 46. If you'll recall, we did a very short time skip, a little over a week. Assume everybody fed twice in that time. In that week, little over of time, a couple of things happened. You guys did some research. You've learned a little bit about the caverns underneath the city, and in fact, underneath a good portion of the island. And there is a couple of strange sicknesses spreading throughout Knossos, and they have been acting to quarantine those people in order to try to stop the spread. It is the night before the festival. The harbor is packed with ships. There's tons of supplies on the streets in the palace, on the streets of the nearby village. You can feel the excitement in the air as people are getting ready to go party and have fun starting tomorrow.
How did this sickness affected those who is not affected by the sickness itself?
It's not affecting you guys at all.
Okay, but what about the townsfolk going to?
Yes, they are getting sick.
Oh, okay.
It seems to be contained to the prisoners, where they have quarantined off about a third of the prisoner population, and they have quarantined off a small section of the village to make it stop spreading. Right.
Is it poor section?
It's mixed. It's mixed up.
Okay.
So, all of that being said, as far as housekeeping goes, you guys are assumed to be at the same blood pool that we were. I assume you guys all fed a couple of times through the time skip. And Helena has let it be known that she will give a opening speech tomorrow night. And then everyone will be released to enjoy the festivities. And then negotiations will begin in earnest 2 nights from now. 2 nights from now.
Okay.
So,
are we allowed to look at the sick people, those who quarantine, those who have been taken captive?
You have been provided open access, especially Nikodemos, since he would have been very interested in this. And I assume Labiana would have as well.
Absolutely.
Okay. And so it didn't affect the economy of the town that much.
Economy? Not much. Not yet. They're trying to stop it before it does.
Has that what's the name? That Cappadocian that as Nikodemos mentor arrived already in the island?
Yes, everybody's here. Everybody has shown up.
Has she made any motions towards learning more about this sickness?
No, not really.
Okay.
She doesn't want to get too distracted from what she's already working on, so.
I assume all of those vampires who came to the Helena's domain are in the mansion, right?
Yes, they are somewhere in the palace.
Yes. Is there a place like common, how to say it, like an Elysium or something where they gather up daily, nightly, and I don't know, have drinks, talk, chat
Not
a bit, to
really.
get bored?
The palace as a whole is considered to be under those rules, but this is not an Elysium. This is all under Helena's rules.
Okay.
So,
So yeah, so they're very asocial in this state right now.
right, most of these creatures are kind of old, and they are avoiding each other out of respect for Helena because they don't want to start something or get involved in something.
Okay.
So,
May I start the day with using my merit about oracular ability? Night. Well, I keep using day. Can I start the night with oracular ability? If if I will be sensing something.
so you want to go out and look for omens, is what you're
Yes.
telling me.
Well, I have my
Well,
skeletons.
you have to go look for omens that you have to interpret them.
Oh yeah, that's the case too. So I would like to go out, check the walls, the sky, try to get omens.
Okay. Yeah, you find a elevated place. You sit and you watch nature. You look at the birds. You watch the clouds. You look at the. You listen to the
Soil.
animals. These
I
kinds
check
of
the
things.
soil.
All right. So I am going to have you make 2 rolls here. The first roll is going to be to cease the omens, and the second roll is going to be to roll the bones and interpret the omens.
Okay.
So first you're going to roll perception plus let's go perception plus enigmas.
Okay.
Difficulty 6.
That's 2 success.
Okay, so you do see some stuff that you think you should interpret by running them through the spirits of your bones. So go ahead and make a intelligence plus enigmas roll. Difficulty 6.
That's 2 success.
Okay. So what are you trying to find out? What are you looking for?
Specifically, considering so many powerful kindred arranged in one place, I just want to sense if something bad or good will come out from this at close future, near future.
The spirits don't have a lot to say about it. There's... How can I put this? This is a center of great power, and it's like even the spirits are holding their breath to see how things play out.
I understand. So it's mystery. Okay. I will join back the coterie.
How about the rest of you guys? Are you doing anything particular tonight, or are we just going to pass some time?
Thinking.
Abner is going to try to approach Hatchet and tell her to and show her the bone, ask her to if she can perhaps take it to one of her clanmates.
One of these satellites.
Yes, from what I understand, they are more familiar with this cult than I.
Out of character, the language is like Sumerian, isn't it? or something like that. Babylonian on the bowl. Hello?
I can hear
I'm
you.
sorry, I had it on mute. Aha.
I think
It is a Proto-Sumerian Babylonian language.
if anything, the Assamites would probably be more likely to know about this, and our clans are not on the best of terms. Still, Hat spends a good while thinking before just looking over. Do we have any exact listings on who precisely is here?
You know all the people you invited. You don't know who all else got invited.
Ah. Hmm. I'm afraid the answers elude me tonight. I'm not even sure where I would start on finding someone who knew this time. I suppose our best option would be, in fact, to ask around the gathered kindred if they are willing to speak.
If not done tonight, we have our opportunity to find out. There's no need to.
Does Sybil know that I keep forget the name of the NPC. Sorry, just a second. Shalmat, I believe.
Yes, your
Yes.
mentor.
Shalmat. Libris is here, right?
Yes, he is.
Okay. Do I know where Libris is? And do I know Libris is... Wait, I should know Libris is Shalmat's child.
Grandchild.
Do I know where... Yeah, grandchild, sorry. Do I know where the Libris is?
He
Or...
typically hangs out in the library, but he may not be there tonight because it's so busy. But you might want to go look.
I would like to go and look.
Okay.
That's probably best bet.
He is not there. The whole palace is actually kind of busy, hanging decorations and cleaning and moving tables around, again, just in general getting stuff ready.
I would like to approach to Labiana and offer her to take a walk with me down the town, checking stuff, observing them, seeing whatever we will see.
It's up to you guys. What do you say, Albina?
Labiana.
Oh,
sorry.
Labiana. What do you say?
Hmm. I think at this point she's got a couple of things going through her head. She'd be one thing she'd be tempted to do is to see if she can find any where they're storing the bodies of the people who have died from this sickness. In an attempt to try and find its source, where it came from. Or try casting the Call of the Hungry Dead ritual.
Okay, so that sounds to me like Labiana's too busy for Sybil.
Okay, then I will take a walk down to town alone.
Okay, so Labiana, you wanted to try to investigate these diseases, right?
Yeah.
Roll intelligence plus medicine. Difficulty will be 6. Okay, you can't really make heads or tails. They seem very similar, just on first glance. Just talking to people, talking to the nurses. You're not sure how Nikodemos came up with the idea that there's 2 different diseases here. Would you like to examine his notes?
Actually, yeah. She would.
Okay, well, these are not secret, so he would probably have showed them to you. You can go ahead and make make an intelligence plus academics roll to interpret his writing. And read what he said and interpret it.
You better roll. Better dice for me. So who would the specialty apply in this case?
What's your specialty?
Research.
Yeah, I would.
Speaking of,
Outstanding. That is a very large number of successes. He has very carefully noted the course of the disease, both diseases, and differentiated the symptoms. One disease he notes as being very similar to something that comes and goes in Rome quite a bit. In fact, he has seen at least 2 outbreaks of it there. The other one he seems to have never seen before, and he has noted it seems particularly brutal in children. It's causing diarrhea, puking, elevated flesh color. It seems like, he said it makes them feel sometimes like they're baking or sometimes like they're freezing. And it really is very hard for the child's body to keep up with it.
okay. deadly odd.
So now you can roll wits plus academics. Research specialty applies.
So, sorry, did you say wits plus academic?
Wits plus academics.
Div 6?
Yeah.
You said specialty applies?
Yes.
Oh wait, I don't think I have a specialty for this one. There's only the ones involving intelligence.
Oh, okay. Well. Okay. He has carefully noted that the diseases first appear to have come about 5 days ago, 5 to 6 nights ago.
Around what area does it seem to have started in?
It is both in the prisoner population and in the village down below.
Does the village happen to be close to the coast?
It's about a kilometer away. This is the same village you climbed down in the well.
Ah, okay.
Also, I'm guessing 5 days would coincide with.
I think we spent like 2 weeks here, or was it
Yeah.
1 week, 6 days?
It's just under 2 weeks.
Okay. So,
So, did anything notable happen 5 days ago? Anything different? Anything?
Not really. Not that you guys are aware of, anyways. Nothing. No strange deliveries. No visitors beyond you and the other Canite guests.
Has anything like this ever happened before? Do you know if there is any other tales about such similar sickness?
Tell you, the purge of records has been pretty good. They don't really talk much about sicknesses and stuff like that here. Plagues. It's not really part of their history.
oh, how? So, first of all, is it safe to assume that that people have died from this?
Some people are getting incredibly sick. If people are dying, they haven't said much about it yet.
Just thinking.
So it probably wouldn't be worth casting the Call of the Dead ritual, Call of the Hungry Dead ritual, at least just yet.
That's entirely up to you.
I mean, she'd probably want to give it a try and just see if she'd get anything on
Okay, you can definitely do
any
so.
spirits.
You have the equipment and knowledge to do it.
Oof, I keep forgetting it's diff 9.
Well, first you must activate the ritual.
Yeah. Can't do that while she's.
So intelligence plus occult at difficulty 4 to activate the ritual.
It's a level 1 ritual.
Yep. So Labiana clears out a space, and she puts a black candle down, and she does a chant, and she scatters black beans in a circle around herself. And she sits down in front, and she lights the candle. And the roll to see if it is successful. Intelligence occult diff 4.
I'm going to assume my special might apply for this. So it's not really research.
It is successful. You and only you, as you sit there, suddenly hear a terrible screaming coming across, echoing through the room, howls. The sounds like the wind is blowing, and not just a gentle breeze. It's like screaming storm wind. The sound of shrieking death and pain assaults your senses. You are going to have to make a perception occult roll at difficulty 9.
Mm-hmm.
Can she spend willpower for that?
She got 1 success. It's incredibly difficult to concentrate what's going on. So, the only thing you hear drifting across the void, in addition to the screams and the howls in the wind, is calls and cries of, "Destroy it! Help us! You have to help us! Please, save us! Stop the madness! Ah!" And then the voice is gone, replaced by another one, screaming rage and anger. And you feel like if you had messed up, this ritual had the potential to have them attack you. That's how much anger is in their voices as they're yelling curses.
That doesn't sound good.
No.
While
Right.
while this is happening, I have an idea. I don't think Hat knows much about actually understanding the biology of medicine, but she can make some basic. She could potentially make some basic logical deductions. So I'm just thinking, could she go around the village, try and ask around to see where which households have been infected, so on and so forth, and try and make a rough infection map almost.
Well, you're not going to get a lot of information out of the village today. But if you wanted to visit the quarantine area, you could definitely do that.
I will do so.
Is anybody going with you?
It might be good to take one other person along just in case. But is anyone free?
Albina is.
Albina, I have some ideas on avenues to look into. Would you mind following me to the quarantine area just in case I need assistance?
Not at all.
Thank you. And with that, heading off to the quarantine area.
Okay, the two of you walk. Um, they have them quarantined back under some trees. Uh, there's a small stream bringing their water to them. A little latrine is dug for them. Make a perception alertness roll. This is smell based.
Oh, lovely. Base diff?
6.
Okay.
Okay, so you both can smell this as you walk up. And you smell it about 30 or 40 meters away, about 100 feet away. You can smell the stench coming out of this camp. There's a path leading up to it. It's very easy to find. There's a couple of guards that see you and let you through. And the guards seem to be there to keep people in, not to keep people out.
Of course.
The smell is horrific. It is bodily waste mixed with vomit and just that nasty BO scent of intense sweating. If you ever seen, if you've smelled somebody in your household who's sick, you know the scent I'm talking about. It is just hangs over this camp like smog. Just permeates it all. There's a little kitchen cooking area set up as you walk into the camp. There's some very threadbare tents set up that look like they almost nets. That's how many holes are in them. Just a little bit of a covering. There's branches and stuff on top of them to help, try to keep the rain off. Whatever people could gather. And people are just sleeping on the dirt. You can, as I said, smell it. You can see the people in the camp. There's a couple of little fires here and there. Just barely enough light to make your way and not trip over the ground.
Does there look to be anyone who's still awake?
Oh, yes. People, mothers trying to tend to a couple of their kids. There's maybe 20 people in the camp that are sick right now.
Ah. I'm going to, Hat is going to, sort of, slowly walk over to one of the groups that's, one of the people that's still awake, and just look, excuse me, do you mind if I ask a few questions?
It's a mother. She looks exhausted. She's kind of sitting there, got her kid's head on her lap. And she's like, can you help us? Can you bring us some water?
I might be able to. I can see what I can do to try and get some over, but I. I have inklings on how to figure out what caused this, but in order to properly pursue them, I would need some questions answered.
I don't care what caused it. I just want my boy to get better. And she's petting the head of this kid in her lap, who's obviously very ill. I'm not going anywhere.
You don't need to. The others around here, were how many of out of character? Is this like out of character? Is the village that sort of space where everyone kind of at least vaguely knows each other?
Yeah.
Of the people, the other families here, how many of them were living particularly close to you?
Well, over there, my cousin from my mother's side is with her two kids, and a couple down, there's the grandmother of my best friend's child's best friend. And yeah, there's. Uh, I mean, I don't know what you want. We're a village. We, all see each other a couple times a week.
Fair. This might be a strange one, but has anyone who's come down with a sickness had nightmares or strange dreams of any kind?
Not that I know of. There was an old dude, the grandmother's husband, died right before everybody got sick. Maybe you should talk to her.
I'll do that. I'll try and do that, actually. Thank you. And for whatever it's worth, I wish you and your child luck.
Offer a sacrifice to the gods. Maybe that'll help. Escalpus.
I will now bring her the water that you request.
She reaches out and takes the bowl from your hand. Thank you. She starts trying to drip it into her son's mouth, a little at a time.
A question about Ghouling. Would Ghouling be able to ward off the disease? Ward off sick?
At least it would help ward off the progress. It would keep it from getting worse.
However, it's worth noting that ghouling children tends to work out very poorly.
Would before Abner hands her the bowl be able to try to mixture her blood on that?
Yeah, your mom wouldn't be able to see anything. It's way too dark for that.
So yeah, she's going to do so.
Okay, so mark off blood point. You quickly, nip the skin on your wrist and squeeze a bunch of blood into the bowl, and then you lick the wound shut, and you bring it over to her. She's all unknowing, begins to drip that into her son's mouth.
Once Alvin has done that, Hat's going to, sort of give her just a nod and take her leave and go to find the grandmother. Was it?
Okay. You go a couple of tents down, lean-tos. You find a old woman. She's dead asleep. She's near one edge of the tent. You can wake her up very easily. There's a couple other people asleep with her.
I'm gonna gently try to nudge her awake.
All right. She's sits up. She's like, "What? What?"
I
She looks terrible. She looks awful.
Good lord. Sorry, that would be anachronistic.
Good
Um,
Hermes.
I I I apologize for waking you up so late, but I need some questions answered. I'm given to understand that your husband died shortly before the outbreak.
Yeah. They say it looks like he died in his sleep, but I believe he was murdered. I think he was killed.
Who would have killed him?
Well, he got woken up and pulled out of our house a couple days before we all got sick, and the night before he died. And I don't know, it was just a couple of people talking to him about old village legends.
I'm sorry. I'm just having wincing a bit because I know what's going on out of character, but in character, I don't. Oh God. Was he acting strange at all in the time before he died?
No, not really. Act like he always does.
Any? Did did do you know of him or anyone else having bad any bad dreams or the like at all in the last couple week in the last couple
This this whole
couple and a
thing's
bit
been a
weeks?
bad dream. I feel like my grandson's gonna die right in front of my eyes. The gods are absent.
Could you say where your house is located? The house where your husband died?
It's. I mean, I could take you if they'd let me out of this camp.
She looks over to Hatsap to see if she desires to take this line of investigation.
I do not think they would take too kindly to us attempting to leave, and I get the feeling no amount of persuasion would convince them.
She looks back to him. Is there any landmark that we could use to navigate?
She gives you a description. You may or may not be able to follow it.
Thank you. If hope, hopefully we should not need to disturb. And beyond that, are there any small things we could do to help ease the pain?
That very nice man mentioned a couple of herbs, but we're all out to help with the stomach pain. If you could get some more of those for us, it'd be great.
I can attempt to look around. Um, do you know what specific kind of herbs he was referring to?
Yeah, he called them wallwort flowers or something. He had a little uh, batch of them with him, uh, but they've all been brewed for tea, and we're all out.
Okay. And out of character, what are the chances that Hat would actually be able to recognize what?
Uh, do you have herbalism?
I do not think so.
Do you have any kind of hearth wisdom relating to plants?
I I believe my half wisdom is meant to do is involved with the stars and
So yeah, so no. Yeah, you'd have to go buy it. You'd have to find it if somebody has it.
okay.
Yeah, herbs aren't really your thing.
Yeah. I'll like bid goodbye and mention that I'll try to look around when I can. But beyond that, leaving the quarantine zone and heading over, trying to find the house.
On your way out, the guards stop you and they say, uh, by order of the village elders and on the advice of the healers, anyone leaving here must first stop and bathe themselves before they're allowed to go any further. So they make you wash up in the stream before you can leave.
Fair enough.
And on Albana's skin, Hatshepsut, you notice ice crystals immediately form as she's washing. The little drips and spots where a water bee would normally form almost instantly freeze up as she's bathing off.
Oh.
Does guards watch them while they're baiting?
They keep a half an eye on them. I mean, they're dudes, but they're not going to be dicks about it. They do have a job to do. And they are much more scared of the person who gave them the job than they are attracted to what will kill them.
Understand.
All right, so you guys bathe up, you wash up, you begin walking to the village.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Between the two of you, somebody roll wits plus legerdemain plus 1 extra dice for help.
Okay.
Do you have the ledger domain?
No, I do not.
Neither.
What's your wit?
3.
Hmm? Okay, then you'll be the best for.
All right.
Okay,
Right.
so difficult 7, right?
Correct.
Just don't find a werewolf.
Good luck, guys.
All right.
Alter.
It takes you quite a bit of time. You make a few wrong turns. Quite hard to do in a village this small, but you do eventually find it. Now, while you guys are searching, Labiena is back at the palace, struggling to master the screaming rage being hollered that she's hearing across the shroud. Do you shut it off, or do you keep working on it?
She's gonna keep trying to determine what they're trying to tell her.
So as you meditate in front of the candle, and it steadily burns, lower and lower, you realize they're not talking to you. They are just in general screaming for help. There is a lot of spirits here, a lot of activity, and it would seem like something brutal and awful happened here a long time ago, and the dead spirits in the underworld are still pissed about it.
Okay.
But it's been so long that even they don't really remember what happened. It's just translated into rage and anger at being dead, at being trapped here, at being in Tartarus when they should be in the Elysian fields.
Okay. Like they have some unfinished business.
But something is keeping them
any-
here.
Is there any way to tell if it's linked to what's currently happening in relation to the sickness?
There does not appear to be any fresh voices added to the chorus.
Okay. So nothing definitive. Hmm. I should have to try. Just try and find a way to figure out, to see if she can figure out what it is keeping them there. Is there a way to find out?
Possibly.
I'll have to work on that.
You are uniquely qualified to do so. You and Fawzia.
Yeah.
Fawzia?
Yeah,
Uh,
Fawzia.
another Cappadocian.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, your candle flame is about out. You are going to need to get a new candle.
Okay. I guess that would mean I'd have to make the roll again, correct?
Well, you're either going to have to make it or you're going to have to buy it.
Ah, gotcha.
So, yeah, your candle flame begins to flicker as you are meditating in front of the candle. And the candle flame flickers and burns out. And the voices in your head all of a sudden stop. Just gone.
Okay. But at this stage, she's definitely intrigued. There's definitely a mystery here. So I don't know if there'll be anywhere in the town that would be open this time of night to be able to buy.
No, not at all. All right. Back to Albina and Hatshepsut. You have made your way to this house. The house is empty. Everyone in it's gone. House is a very loose term here. It's a strong hut.
So, when you say empty, is in like just no people, or is it like completely empty even of furnishings?
Well, there's no people and there's very little, if anything, of value, monetary or useful value. There is some furnishings in there. Stools, crude made benches, a good spot to hang a hearth kettle.
An important question. If I try to open my mind with the medium merit, are there any spirits here?
There are no spirits inside this house.
I'm gonna try looking around for any hints of maybe any hints of something that something might have happened beyond what was discussed, like any signs of some sort of struggle, however slight.
Okay.
Or,
That's going to be a perception plus investigation roll at difficulty 9, plus 1 extra dice for Albina's help.
can I spend a willpower on this?
Yes.
Because it's difficulty 10. Oh wow.
Wow. As the two of you, begin to tear apart this hut, you examine the door and the window very, very closely. And there's a bare, tiniest scrape in the wood of the door that you have seen. You have done enough breaking and entering now in the last couple of years with your companions to recognize the scrape of a knife blade that has scraped up the side of the wood.
Interesting.
Can we make what the identify the scrape? Like what might be the cause of?
Well, this is obviously not normal. That's what the investigation roll was for. This is something you have seen many times. It's just incredibly small to notice. You have seen this scrape mark. Albina, you personally have no need to make these scrape marks anymore. But most of your companions do, and you have seen the evidence of it. This is the obvious mark of somebody breaking into the house by jiggling the door bar.
Presumably. Well, if nothing else, we can take the conclusion that whatever killed him wasn't a spirit. Hmm. Um. Around the area of the scrape marks, does there seem to be any loose items that...
Nope, there is nothing else there. Just that.
Damn.
And the grandma never said anything was missing or taken or anything like that. So somebody obviously popped the lock here. And presumably, if her theory is correct, killed her husband and then left back out.
The question is...
Sybil and Labiana, you guys are back at the palace. These people are investigating and talking, thinking. What do you guys like to do? What are you guys doing now? It has now been several hours. So the night is... time slowly turns. It is not waiting for forever.
I will waste time. Do nothing important. I will waste time just.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be much time to be able to do anything significant.
Okay. So you guys are basically just preparing yourselves for tomorrow then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I have one last idea for hats to take before retiring for the night. When we were first looking into the well, the stars showed signs of conflict of supernatural forces and so forth above the well. If I look to there again, are the signs still there, and have they changed?
That's going to be a perception plus or intelligence plus enigmas roll.
Base diff 6.
Yes. It looks like the forces of death have advanced just a little. The force of life has, in the constellation of Persephone, has shrunk a little, and the force of death in the constellation of Hades has grown.
That it does not bode well.
That is no surprise after what's happening, but it shows that this is not natural. That there is something more than it just understood.
Or at the very least, it is having effects that aren't wholly natural.
Perhaps some other supernatural being is affecting this.
I'm wondering if perhaps it was a mistake to take those bowls.
Do you think this may be Ishita's doing for us taken from her camp?
Main. This is just a wild guess, but it could have been that the bowls were part of some kind of protection, and that by taking them, we ever so slightly disrupted that protection.
What do you suggest we do? Return that with the bowl?
Would it
We
be worth
wouldn't,
putting them back?
we wouldn't even know where to put them anymore.
Yeah.
Perhaps where we put them does not matter as long as it's down in the cave.
I mean, perhaps the gesture is enough.
I do not know. How much time is left in the night?
3 or 4 hours.
Hold a rope for me. I will, at the very least, until we can figure out something better, I can place the bowls at the entryway of the caverns.
Of course. If I may also say, it might be cold to say this, but honestly speaking, how long do you plan to stay here? After all, this disease takes ally to progress. By the time it is reaches a critical state, it might no longer be in this location.
We'll do what we can, and if that isn't enough, then that's just how it is.
I hope this is not required. I do not wish for this to cause any trouble to Helena.
So, yeah. Is there any problems that occur with trying to, scale back down the well with the rope? Put the bowls just at the entrance.
How many are you putting down there? All of them?
All the ones that we took.
So all 4 of them.
Hmm.
Okay.
Putting
Yeah.
down, sorry, what?
Sybil, they want your bowl.
Nope, I don't give mine.
Okay, so you only have 3. I'm going to assume that you either take Nikodemos's or he gives it to you, and you have Albana's and you have yourselves. Hatchet.
Mm-hmm.
It is no problems there to get down the well and put them in the first cavern.
Aha, I'm not going down there.
Is that all you're doing down there? Just
Yeah.
take the bowls and throw them in the cavern and get out?
Not throw them in. Like, place them down, carefully.
Okay.
Don't break them. Breaking them will probably just make things worse. And yeah, then leave. In fact, before I leave, I'm going to attempt to touch the glyph one last time.
Roger that. Courage roll. You know how painful this is. Diff 8.
Oh, there's a rope hanging from the ceiling. Let me put my neck in it.
Nope, I'm not. I can't bring myself to do it.
Okay. You have a temporary phobia of touching anything that you know will give you pain. I take that back. Your flaw masochist compels you to touch it no matter what. Even though you can't act, you have a phobia, but you are still compelled to touch it.
Oh god, that's perfect. Perfect.
Take it like a man, bro. Take it like a man.
So do I touch the glyph now, or?
You do. Self-control, difficulty 8.
Can I try and spend a willpower on this?
No, you can.
Yeah. Yes, you can.
Making things even worse. No,
This is gonna be funny. I don't want to do it, but damn it, I don't care. I like pain. I'm gonna touch it anyways.
Was it diff 8?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you get masochist derangement or something from this.
Oh, nice.
2 successes total.
Yep. Okay, so you don't go screaming into the cavern. Start rolling your current amount of willpower, which is, I believe, is now down 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
At difficulty 8.
Hell.
Oh, I almost put pool mod 8 there.
Well, it's not a botch. But you do collapse screaming in agony. Roll it again.
Do I hear this?
No, it is the water dampens all of that. But you are standing there like, what is going on? What's taking her so long? Okay, roll again, Hatshepsut.
Good night tonight.
It's not a botch. Roll again.
Oh yes, Suicide Squad.
Oh dear, this is not going well.
Roll one more time.
The die RNG. Go fuck yourself. In quote.
Oh, okay. You can roll again.
And what does this time I botch? Oh, no.
Roll again. You only need 3 more successes. Come on.
You can do it.
There's one.
Roll again.
Do it. But be careful. It might be sun up now.
Yes!
There you go.
Okay. Albina, she is down there for an hour. A solid hour. Hatshepsut, you have no conception for how long you're down there, screaming in agony. But by the time the vision passes, your entire row, mark off a blood point. Actually, 2 blood points. All of your clothing is soaked in blood sweat. You can see down at the cavern floor and see where you've been rolling around on the floor in pain, writhing in agony, as the visions of life and death just racked your body.
Do I get a point of willpower?
You do not.
Aww.
Abner's going to jump into the.
Now, Hatchet, you do notice the visions were very similar. You don't have eidetic memory, so you don't know you can't tell if they were exactly the same, but they were very similar.
Have the same themes.
Yes. As you are coming to, dragging yourself to the water, sitting up against the wall, you dip your hand in the cool water and start washing your face off. Albina pops up out of the well and pulls herself up and out.
I should I knew I was forgetting something before I touched that thing.
What happened? Are you okay? She looks over at her blood-covered.
No less so than when the night started. I decided to test trying the glyph again. It was a bit harder to bear through it this time, but I managed, but unfortunately, while an entrancing experience, it didn't bring any new insight.
She gives her a slight smile. She looks over to the wall. It is a very enchanting experience. This that you talk about. The mystery side is very seductive to one's such as 6. What might be hidden behind. I understand. But come on. You are soaked in blood now. You need to get clean.
Yes, I know. With that, Hat will just take time to wash herself off and then head back up with Albina.
Okay. They do eventually make their way back to the palace, guys. It's just a couple of hours until sunrise, and Hatshepsut and Albina are both soaking wet. And Hatshepsut, in particular, her clothing appears to be soiled, dirty, nasty.
Should we, would you be able to request, fuck, Helena for a bathhouse or something?
Oh, absolutely. The servants will draw you up a bath, take your clothes for laundry.
It's fine. It's got vampire blood in. It'll just make them stronger temporarily.
No, I'm just saying that this might be the cause of actually the sickness. You know, me entering the water.
That's
I don't
how we
know.
call them all.
Yeah, that's probably actually going to happen, considering soaked in all blood and then entering the water. Yeah.
Excuse me.
All right. Next night, you guys all wake up. You are refreshed, fresh clothing.
Right.
The sounds of music drifts through the halls. Huge festival outside the outside the palace walls, and inside the palace walls, as a matter of fact. You can smell drifting through the air the sense of roasted meat, the scent of spilled wine, and if you're hungry enough, even the pulse of hot blood through dancers as they party and run through the halls.
Be right back. I need to grab something real quick.
All right. I'll tell you guys what. Let's all take a 10-minute break. How about that?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, guys. So, welcome back. We are getting prepared for a huge party and a meeting. The servants have made sure that you have about 30 minutes to prepare yourself. She's going to meet everybody in the Great Hall. You all have, your clothing has been laid out, and unless you've given specific instructions, they have put out party clothing. Good robes, decorative stuff, tassels and things for it, little crowns to wear on your head, made out of leaves and things like that. Just stuff for Apollo. Yeah.
Sorry, can my clothes, tissue or whatever it's called, be made of, what is it? This very hollow thing that costs too much money? I forgot the name of it.
Nope, it's whatever you brought with you, basically.
Oh, they don't give. Fuck.
No.
Okay, I thought they
No.
were giving. The
Her
clothes
generosity
with
does not extend to clothing you.
Fuck you. Okay. I say this
Especially
to her
you.
and okay,
All right.
then I reek. My clothes reek.
Well, they've made sure they're party acceptable, at least.
Fuck them again.
Yeah, she's not gonna. Now, she can't make you conceal yourself. Although it would be incredibly bad manners. Unless you see another Nosferatu walking around like that. It would be bad manners to not conceal yourself. Other than that, she has made sure that your clothing at least is acceptable condition. It's patched enough to conceal the nastiness underneath. It's in everybody's clothing, smells decent. There's no nasty stains. It's party attire. If you can think of a way to ruin it, Helena has thought of a counter.
I have a question. Like, if my clothes were like, I don't know, behind my clothes was like in Russian, "May Baba Yaga suck your tits." Would my common sense tingle and say I shouldn't do that, or would my
Yes.
common sense?
Your common sense says that if you intentionally try to ruin tonight,
No, it's in Russian. It's not the language they most.
you have no idea what they do and don't speak.
Ah, yeah, that's true also. Okay. I will go as much as Nosferatu can go outside.
Okay. Right. You make your way through the hall. There is feasting, there's dancing, there's food everywhere. The wine flows like water.
Wine?
The blood of animal sacrifices scents the air, the burning of the bones and fat. One of the servants, one of her special ghoul servants, directs you to a side room where there are some prisoners chained if you wish to satisfy your thirst tonight.
Yeah, I will take a sip. I will like that.
Yes, Alpna, you also partaking it.
Okay?
So how much do we get?
How much you want to take?
Do we have to pay above 3?
No, you don't have to pay for this at all, unless they die, in which case your humanity suffers.
I will take 2 blood points.
Okay?
Assuming there's enough to go around without killing, I'm going to take 3.
Okay?
Which NPCs do we see?
Albana, the person you drink from, passes out. Servants quickly grab the 2 that you were fed from and drag them away, and 2 new prisoners are brought in and chained up in their place.
I will take a couple blood, which is reduced to 1 because of my.
Okay? Same thing. That person is drug out of the way and taken away, and somebody else's fresh is replaced in his spot.
Well, I only need 1 at one point.
In that case, I might if allowed, to take 2 more from the replacement, just to ensure that I've got a decent.
Okay, sure. All right, so you get 3. You take 4 and you get 3 because it says per scene, right? So.
Question: which NPCs do we see?
You see all of the people you invited, and some of the people who invited themselves are there.
Cool. Let's see.
There are
What's the-
Libris is there, and he is speaking to Helena off to the side.
Livers? Which
Yes.
one was that?
Your mentor's grandchild.
Correct. Where is my mentor right
He's
now?
around.
Oh, he's not with them. Okay,
He's
cool.
around.
I'm curious for the Ventru who hate each other. What are they doing? Where are they placed? How far are they from each other?
Well, everyone's just kind of milling around doing their own thing right now.
What a boring they are.
The Helena seems to be prepping everybody. Now, that being said, a lot of them are not talking to each other. So you see all the people you invited. Taros, Bukafos is there. Nevma, all the people that you, over the last several months, have spent so much time and effort traveling around, have honored their obligation, and they are attending tonight. They are all dressed in similar attire, party attire, nice, not incredibly formal, just nice. Eventually, Helena gathers everyone to her. Everyone gathers in front of her, and she gets up on a little raised platform. She puts together a welcome and speech. She praises everyone for putting aside ancient grudges to gather here, trusting in her to maintain peace and order. It's a very hearty speech, full of patting herself on the back, patting you on the back, metaphorically, for all of your efforts. She finishes with a hearty welcome and wishes all of you to enjoy the party tonight, partake of the pleasure of her guests, enjoy the music and dance, and party as if it is the final night of your own lives. tomorrow night, the true work of the negotiations begins, and they should carry tonight's happy memory when things begin to unleash unpleasant emotions during the negotiations.
Cool.
It's a nice speech. Everybody breaks up. The crowd breaks up.
Claps.
Yep.
Woohoo!
So, in addition to everybody who was there, you see at least 2 unfamiliar Canaanites. Like I said, you see Libris. You see a Canaanite in foreign fashions. He is the darkest, blackest skin you've ever seen, ever. Only the whites of his eyes and his teeth show any color in his face.
Do we assume what this is, or do we not know it?
I think it's pretty obvious. The other is an incredibly hideous Nosferatu walking about openly. Sybil, you've talked to him, and I believe you took Nikodemos with him as well once.
Wait, oh yeah. He walks openly?
No, he
I
doesn't.
just throw
He's
away
there.
Okay,
He's
I
just
throw
there.
away my... Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I throw away my...
Well, I think what he means is that he isn't like what.
He is openly showing he's a Nosferatu.
Yeah, I will do the same. Okay. I see the older one. I just do it too.
Yeah.
Fuck them all.
This is his Nosferatu is named Urgahalt. Right?
Maybe I don't remember.
So everybody roll, if you want to read the crowd, roll perception plus politics to read the crowd.
This will be fun. Perception politics. Politics. They call me politics. Yeah.
Ah, Sybil, you are totally oblivious. You don't understand any of this.
Oh yeah. This is the most fun.
Alright.
Can
I
I
should say,
approach?
you understand the most of this. You guys all, except for Sybil, observe the behavior, but you have trouble interpreting it. So you see, everyone is polite, but there's obvious tensions in the room. Taros and Marcos cast a, if looks could kill, the 2 of them would both be dead. But they are refraining from anything but that, just casting hate-filled glances at each other.
And thankfully, none of them have the various combo disciplines that make looks actually kill.
Maybe they do and maybe they don't, but at least they're not using it. Bukafos is circulating and he seems perfectly at ease, a master of everything he sees. Nevma, Kanan, and Igata are very cautious with each other and try to kind of avoid each other. So as they circulate through the crowd, they're like actually trying not to interact with each other because they're just that's just what you see.
Okay.
Olympia everyone is turning their back to her. Like they are literally turning away from her as she approaches.
Can I approach to Olympia?
No, because you don't see shit.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, you completely botched that roll. You don't see any of this.
Not about the feeling. I was originally going to approach Olympia to talk, initiate a conversation. It's not about the thing she's doing.
So, but that's for those of you guys who passed the roll. Albana, you kind of see the behavior. You don't really interpret it very well. Labiana, you got a little bit more out of that, and Hatchetset, you got all of it.
Mm-hmm. Kenavma and Igota are all avoiding each other with what you said, right?
Oh yeah. Of course, Fauzia's there. She's just walking around trying to talk to people. She's not much of a partier, though. She's not having a lot of success. Libris, the dude is a freaking killjoy.
Of course.
He is obviously not good with crowds.
What's Libris? The Gangria?
The Bruja Libris.
The prince who was bored.
He's not good with crowds. Shalmuth, doing well, completely at ease. Him and Bukafos appear to have several conversations back and forth. Let's see. Of course, Priam, Helena's ghoul, circulates freely. Iontius, the Toreador, is there. He was the Prince of Athens, and he invited himself. And there are a lot of guests who gravitate to him, as you might expect.
Because she's the Prince of Athens?
No, Iontius, the Toreador, the Prince of Athens. They don't gravitate to him because he's the prince. They gravitate because he's a Toreador, and he's incredibly outgoing and charismatic.
One of those Toreador who's too skilled for their own good, probably.
Yep. He likes to be in the center of attention. He likes parties. If you will remember, he does not like vampire politics, but he likes a good party.
Party.
And that's it, man. Everyone's out. You guys kind of got the rundown there.
Yeah. So can I initiate a conversation even if I botch the roll?
Yes, you can. You don't see any of these interactions.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
as I originally intend to, I just want to initiate a conversation with Olympia.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah, alright. Hey, mistress, is it okay if I talk with you?
That's Prince Olympia to you, but yes.
Yes, Prince Olympia. So, from the last time we saw each other, how are you? Have you been more ease now?
I have fully recovered, as you can see.
Yes, you look much beautiful, if you excuse my interpretation.
Well, I appreciate the compliment, but I'm curious as to what you're still doing here. Your job was finished, was it not?
We are having fun, sticking here and there, checking if everything is okay, that's all. You know, Rome, watching over others like a, well, eagle flying on the sky. Very mighty view, of course, but, well, let's be discreet now.
She puts her hand on your shoulder, starts walking, and she turns on the charm. She's going to make a roll to charm you, no disciplines. This is literally just charisma and using a natural charisma and performance to charm you.
So she's like looking at me menacingly?
No, she is trying to make you feel friendly, at ease. She's turning up the dial to get you to relax and talk to her. Alright, she's going to be rolling manipulation plus empathy.
Not charisma, interesting.
What's your current willpower?
6.
Alright, that's her diff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 successes. Unless you make a willpower roll to resist and make all 6 successes, you are falling under her sway.
Sure. Okay. Let's see how this will change the roleplay.
She begins navigating the party with you. Tell me, what all, in the nights since you helped us achieve justice against the foul murderers, how have you been? What have you been doing? Tell me everything. I am very interested to hear what has been going on with you.
You know, we've been meeting up with other kindreds, telling what you've been doing, that kind of stuff. Seems some of them was quite lacking the communication skills as they learned the news from us first and foremost. One of them was the grandchild of Artemis. You might saw him in the party. You know, shaming old kindreds. You guys are relentless, I have to say it. I'm quite fond of it. It's very understandable why you guys survived so for a long time. Other than that, it's very going simple. You know, there's a hidden maze down there. I might take you there if you like to. It's pretty intriguing. Would you like to go there?
You would? I would love to go there. Let's bounce out of here. Let's go see what's going on there. That sounds a lot more interesting.
Nah, I have to stick with my.
Come on
friends,
now,
but-
we're friends now.
Nah.
We're friends. We're talking at a party. We're under protection. Nothing's gonna happen. I'll protect you.
Sorry.
I'll keep anything from happening. Why don't you show me what you found?
Sorry, I can't.
She's gonna make another leadership role here. One, two, three, four, five successes.
Okay, so can I resist this with willpower?
Yes, you can.
But like, spend the willpower point and resist that kind of thing.
This is literally just using her natural charm and persuasion.
Okay, so there's no magic in this.
No, there is no magic here.
So can I just simply ignore it then?
Given the amount of successes she had to charm your ass off.
Okay, so we are.
I'll bet there's better food down in the village. Smells, more dancing, parties. Probably not better
You know-
music, but
You know what? You know what?
well, let's walk in
We
the
can.
sky.
You know what? We can do that tomorrow. Tomorrow we can.
Unfortunately,
do
we
that. I would
can't.
love to.
I'll be involved in negotiations all night long. Have to listen
then
to
we
Marcos
can do-
Strong. Oh God, that
We
man
can
can
do that
prattle
day
on
over.
and on.
Yes. It seems quite an interesting thing to talk about, of course. We can do it the day after that then.
I can't. I don't know how long it's gonna last. Tonight, I have to take all the enjoyment for tonight.
I trust you are quite old. I think you can wait a few more days before going down there. We have all the time. We are eternal.
I think not. I think at least you owe me to show me the entrance now. At least show me that.
Is this true? So wait. Do you mean like you owe me?
No, I think you owe me at least to show the entrance. After telling me these stories, how can you expect me to at least not see the entrance, the doorway that you're talking about here?
Well, it's a pit.
Well, come on, at least show me where you got in. We can do that.
Okay, let me gather up my friends. We can go there together. Let me gather up my friends.
Well-
Go three.
I expect
I
you.
go-
I expect
I
you
go-
back here very quickly. We got all night long to enjoy ourselves, but as you said,
Of course.
we got to
And
do
you
it.
know what? And you know what? I feel like some others might be quite interested in this too. So I will just tell them to give the information, and they might like to come with us too. You know, Shalmat.
Well, go and tell them quickly. I want to see this quickly.
Okay. I do that. I go tell it to my Kotri, and I tell it to. Wait, let me tell the NPC names to you. I tell it to Shalmat. I tell it to Bukeposh, yes, and I tell it to the Bruja prince, who is very bored of politics. of the kindred.
The Toreador prince.
That's
The
Toreador.
Toreador. Yeah, the Toreador prince. Yes. I tell them too.
Okay? Yeah, they don't give a shit.
Okay. Then I tell it to my coterie only. You know, telling them Olympia wants to go and check the well. Invites us to go there.
Oh, I suppose one last trip wouldn't hurt.
Can I make a... Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Albina. What were you gonna ask?
I'm just going to ask if I could make an empathy roll on Olympia, try to discern what is her reason for wanting to go there.
Sure. Perception empathy. No, we're gonna do wits empathy. And you're gonna have to talk to her quite a bit to do it.
Okay. Difficult of 6.
Yeah. As you go and you engage her in conversation about it, she's like, "Is he ever going to come back? I swear I've heard the same song 3 times, waiting on Sybil to come back." She appears to be just curious.
So I think we're all going there.
Sure. You guys, as a group, traipse down to the village. Have a good look at the well. The party is in full swing in the village itself. The succulent smells of spitted meat fill the air. Dogs and kids run around. People are eating until they can't eat anymore. The party, this is a very late night for these villagers, and the party's still going. A lot of them are getting pretty drunk. She's like, "Oh, okay, that's what you're talking about. There's the well entrance." Great.
Yes, you just have to jump down there and swim, and you will see the mighty maze.
Okay. Well,
If one is to go down there,
It's
they're
fine.
advised to beware of glyphs on the wall. I've touched the same glyph twice now, and it's enlightening, but in a thoroughly painful way.
oh dear.
but I
Well, that
think-
does sound odd.
But I think compared to us, you will be too strong for it.
Well, back to the party then. Thank you for showing me this. Maybe at some point down the road I will indulge in a whim to go explore.
Nice. Cool. Okay. I did not get diablerized.
I've now officially to guide her back to the party to accompany her.
Well, I thank you very much. She takes her time. She walks around the village, talking to you guys. Again, she's attempting to charm everybody. She's just charming as hell.
Along the way, I note that she's being rejected by the others in the party, I'm going to try to gently broach the subject with.
Yeah, she's basically charmed all of you guys. And again, using literally just her charisma and ability to be nice. Charm people. Well, success does breed jealousy, and there are several here who have let the enemies linger on for centuries and been unable to bring them to heal. So, I assume in a few hundred years their anger at me will die down. They all did know Alamar, of course. But that also means they knew how big of a dick he was.
Do you think one of them will seek vengeance upon you?
Oh, no. They won't seek any vengeance on me. To them, this will be enough to shun me from their company. Oh, boo-hoo.
They are the ones at loss. If they think shunning you from the company is going to do you any harm.
None of them have the guts to endanger themselves the way we did. This is their method of revenge, to shun and isolate, and hope somebody else does the work for them. And again, you guys are all walking around as a big group, and she's basically saying this to everybody. Perhaps Marcos will have the muscles to prove me wrong. Be able to step forward and put this aside. That Cappadocian Fausia, I'm not terribly familiar with her, but she seems likely enough to be able to look past the rest of them.
I hope it does not come to this. I do not wish to see any harm to come upon you. They do not wish to see you, for you to face any hardship.
Oh, there's nothing that will come of this. Those beings up there, like I said, they will wait centuries to avenge one verbal slight by hoarding it and taking the time to come up with the perfect verbal slight in return. Something of this magnitude, 1,000 years would not be enough time for them to understand and figure out what to do about it. I have no fear of them at all.
I would like.
But come, I would not have them perceive me as monopolizing your time. Circulate, talk to them, become friends. One does not survive long by being strong alone. You must have friends. I have mine, and I know who my true friends are.
Aren't we your friends? We
What did-
helped you with the.
What did you
we
think
helped
I
you
was
with the-
implying, dear?
No, I don't know.
Exactly. Said I know who my true friends are. But I want you guys to make more. Become well connected. Artemis has it right. You need to have more friends. You need to know the people here. Go and speak to them. Especially that Assamite Azif.
What do you know about the Essamite?
Why don't you go talk to him yourself?
Okay, let me do that. And I quickly go to the party.
Abner gives a pleasant smile upon Olympia's comment about them being friends, and it's the honor that you see me as your friend, and it pleasures me to be able to call you one of. Are you follow your advice and seek out others that might wish to speak?
That's good. Enjoy yourselves tonight. But remember, you do have to do business, unfortunately. I'll see you later. Have a good time.
Thank you.
She courtesies to her as she heads off to mingle.
Yeah, when Olympia's not in terrible pain, she's a tolerably nice person.
I don't know, the way you talked, I thought like there was some shit going on in the background. She's going to do some wild stuff.
I thought
she was just trying to draw me outside to kill me.
Yeah, I thought the same thing, to be fair.
I was like, this is going so bad.
I think it's just a fact that the contrast is what threw us off.
Yeah. I'm like, shit, no, please don't let me go outside, please. I'm like out of character like this. In characters too. But I was too charmed for doing that.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, everybody goes back to the party. You're at the main palace again. Everybody splits off.
I will talk with the Esamite, is she implied?
Yeah, you can find Azif. He's engaged in a conversation with one of the mortal guests.
Mortal guest.
Yeah, there's a mini mortal guest here. Yes.
She's engaged. He's engaged with a conversation with a mortal. Ah, this is interesting. Okay. I just take 2 steps closer to him. Does he recognize me?
He sees you and sees that you want to speak to him and says something to the guy. They kind of pat arms, shake hands. They wander off, and he turns around and gives you the little head nod that you can approach.
I approach humbly. Hey, hello. My name is Sibyl. I heard that it will be a good thing to talk with you while having the chance, so I just listened to the advice. So, how are you? What do you think about the party? Was it worth the way coming from wherever you are coming from?
He smiles, and again, the contrast between this skin that is just as dark can be, and the white teeth and the whites of his eyes just pop out. And he speaks. His Greek is very clipped. He's very educated. Hello, Sybil. My name is Azif. How do you do tonight?
Just fine. I was a little worried just a few minutes ago, but it's much better now.
How so? Have you informed the lovely Helena about your concerns?
It's if you understand, as a young kindred as me, when goes outside with such old vampires, it becomes rather chilling under the skin. You just don't know what might happen. Definitely will not be in your control.
Why? What made you uncomfortable?
The sheer aura around you guys are just too frightening, and you might not know when the violence arises.
Violence under the rule of Helena? Who would chance her wrath in such a manner?
You might not know. I mean, there's a beast in every kindred, and it's very, I believe, surprising.
This canine obviously frightened you. Why? Tell me your feelings.
I mean, I believe you might understand who I'm talking to. It's Olympia. After the recent news, the retaliation, and I whispered that. I just thought it's a little unsettling, that's all.
You found it unsettling, her treatment, or you found her unsettling?
I found the way to the act going so straightforward, without any hesitation or beforehand thoughts, unsettling. In consequences, it's led to me being unsettled of the individual herself.
You believe her impulsive?
Well, if you really keep this secret between us.
Of course, I promise.
I trust you. Yes, a little bit.
Do go
Would
on.
you think the same? Would you think the same, or do you have a better understanding of the personality?
I have not had a chance to question her. I would need to do so thoroughly.
Well, as you can see, it was a very chaotic thing happening down the city. There was some attack, and there was some theories, assumptions. The result happened to be very fast, and it kind of went too, how to say it, instinctively rather than well thought. And then we found ourselves just, well, wishing farewell to few important kindreds in this world.
So you refer to the events in Missolonghi then, not here.
Yes, you are
So-
indeed correct.
Would you answer some questions for me about that? I have questions.
Of course, I would like to answer. Sharing knowledge is the best gift we can do to each other as immortals.
Did her or her canite entourage take a single wound?
So, out of character, what do you mean by that, Loon?
Did they get hurt?
Under her control, the ones under her control.
Correct.
I mean, there was quite a few dead human soldiers that got arrow volleyed.
So her humans, which, as a Ventru, unfortunately, she sees them as disposable pawns.
Well, it was quite like that indeed.
But she took no damage, did she?
Well, she was behind all of us, to be honest.
Okay. How long did this process take? Was it quick?
Honestly, it was fascinatingly quick. Like, honestly, I had a glimpse of what an elder can do, and it was horrific. If you understand, if you empathize with me.
Did she have... It sounds to me like she had ships and men prepared already. Does it not?
As I said, it was like a retaliation. And as you can understand, retaliation happens after a little bit getting ready.
But this does
After a
not sound
little bit.
impulsive. This sounds far more planned, and she wants it to look impulsive. Not a single wound on her? She came in injured? Severely burned? That's the story I heard. Is that not correct?
Yeah, she was pretty damaged.
And yet, even with this damage, she took no hurt in the fight?
Nope, there was allies, there was soldiers, there was us.
Against 3 strong kindred? 3 strong
Yes.
Canaanites?
Yes, 3 strong Canaanites. Also, one of them had to fight with 4 strong Canaanites in exchange, so that was pretty easy fight.
Sounds to me like she manipulated you all. I believe
opened
you were
my
correct
eyes.
to be wary of her.
My eyes. I never thought it like this. It was just too... well... I mean, it must be because I'm young and stupid. I couldn't see the way.
Understand, there are few Ventru with whom Hakim and his children see eye to eye. Olympia is not one of them. However, this Mithras is. What do you know? What have you heard of him?
Mitras. I know that he is strong enough to gather all these kindreds to one place and Rome too.
He gathered these kindred.
Well, the Rome had the arrangement, but the reason was Mitras. So, in the end, I believe it's Mitras who gathered all of these kindreds here.
Ah. Precision is important, Sybil. You should understand this, being of your clan. I understood this is in response to Mithras, but what do you know of him exactly?
He's a Ventru. He's feared. The Gangrel wants to kill him. And another kindred here wants to kill him also. Other than that, not so much.
So it sounds to me as if you know nothing of him.
That is quite true.
That's too bad. You should attempt to make more friends and know with whom you are tangling.
We are the pawns. It will be the eternal sense as I hear it who will deal with it. We did our job. Our job was gathering you, well, most of the kindreds here in this room.
Yeah. He starts laughing. The Eternal Senate's going to deal with it. That's funny. You are quite the jokester.
That's what they said.
Do you see a member of the Eternal Senate here?
No. They are high in the...
Just like Olympia,
I believe.
they are recruiting others to do their dirty work for them.
Well, as I said, I'm just a pawn here. What do you expect me to do?
I expect you to understand, or seek to understand. You may be a pawn now, but even a pawn, even the smallest tadpole can grow into a large fish or a large frog. Do not underestimate yourself. And if that is all,
So-
I believe I will continue to circulate. Have a good evening.
Thanks for the conversation.
Um, Hat's just gonna generally be mingling with any of the kindred who look like they might be a bit more scholastic, you know.
Okay. Yeah, they're willing to talk to you. Fausia seems a little out of place. She's like the stereotypical nerd who comes to a party and starts talking about, Yu-Gi-Oh cards or Pokemon or Magic the Gathering when everyone else is talking, football.
And beyond
I
that,
prefer
just
geek.
as an aside note, throughout the party, at several points she'll be glancing over in Bufus's direction.
You will eventually catch him alone if you wanted to talk to him.
Oh, she's not approaching him. Just as a round of fluff note, she's just
Okay. Yeah, Bukafos is usually easy to find.
mm,
It's a competition between Bukafos and Iontius and Helena, who gathers the biggest crowd. But it's one Helena appears to be winning, if only by a couple people.
well, she's a host.
How about Labiana and Albina?
Well,
Mhm.
I suppose out of everyone, if Laviana spots Falzia, she'll
Okay.
talk to them.
You notice Falzia does have her mask on.
You probably wouldn't recognize her straight away.
Oh yes, you. Yeah, she's very distinctive. Um, you come up, you see her. She actually like does the awkward. I'm kind of at a party hug, and I don't know if this is right or not. And she's just like, "Oh, it's Labiena, right? Yeah, Labiena." And she pulls a book out, and she's like, "Flip, flip, 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 flip." Cilia, yes, Labiena Cilia. Glad to see you again.
Yes, so how have things been going since we saw each other last?
Well, I had to put my experiments on hold, so that sucks. But you know, I had at least got to clean out my cages. Got a couple of specimens on board the ship. They're pretty. It turns out they're pretty good at keeping the ship clean of rats. You want to go see them? This is really boring.
Laviana kind of looks around a little awkwardly. Yeah, I would tend to agree. I would very much like to.
Okay, let's go. Let's ditch this joint. She starts engaging in weird esoteric talk, debating theories that you know as you guys walk down to the pier. You'll notice the harbor is packed. There's a bunch of ships down there. You guys get on board and you go underneath the decks. And the first thing you hear after all the sounds of all the party start to die down as you get down in there is and little thumps and bumps. She's like, "Oh no, don't mind all that. That's them doing their jobs. Hey, you want to see them?"
Sure.
Yeah, okay, come on, yeah, let's see them. And she makes this like noise, and the two people come out, and they are on their hands and knees, like almost like on their wrist and knees, not really their hands, stumbling out very slowly. And that's what you realize that's what the thumping and the noise was, because they have like a mask that's been fused to their face. And she goes, "Yeah, I had to do that because they tried to gnaw each other's necks and kill themselves, so I couldn't let that happen. So now I just have to let them go one at a time to feed themselves." And she just kind of grabs one like an animal and like kicks its arms out so it lays down flat and then kicks it over And she goes, yeah, this is one of the ones you guys got me. And he was pretty sick, unfortunately. His looks like the liver, and she pokes where the liver's at. Looks like his liver is in really bad shape. It's one of the worst I've ever seen. I don't know how much longer he's going to last, so I had to tone back on what I was doing. You kind of use him as a as my little rat catcher. Look here, and she goes, "Come on, get closer." And she goes, "You might have to magnify your sight here. You see how the necrosis is spreading from the stitch, from the suture? Look at this." And she starts pointing out medical details, and they're pretty rancid, pretty bad, to be honest. These guys are dying on their feet, or on their hands and knees, as the case may be. And it's basically her magic keeping them alive. And they are. This is horrific. This is honestly horrific. It would be a mercy to kill these people. You can make a no traits risk roll, conscience, to say do something about it. Would you like to do that?
Yes, you probably should.
Okay. Roll your conscience, difficulty 8. If you pass, you are compelled to mention that this is not right.
It's a diff 8, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you feel the stirrings of conscience within you. This is terrible. This should not be happening in front of you. What are you going to do about it?
She kind of looks at them and feels a pang of conscience and dispose. She turns to
Fazia.
Fazia. And she goes, yeah, you really shouldn't be. This really isn't right. You should probably just, allow them to die.
But I don't want to allow them to die. I have more use for them. I can learn more if I keep them alive.
I get that you're trying to learn something here, but perhaps it might be better if, you let these ones go and try and find other subjects.
You really think they're at their end of their usefulness?
She kind of turns to and looks at them in their sorry state. I believe so.
Yeah, maybe you're right. I don't know. If they survive until I get back, I'll put them out of their misery. I guess I could do one more experiment on them.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I guess you should be getting back to the party then.
Yes.
And she pats these poor guys on the head like a little dog. Now, you two be good now. Go back to your cages. I'll see you later.
Who's a good tortured death monster?
And they're
Who's
like,
a good tortured...
and they kind of stumble on their wrists and knees, their forearms, back around the corner. And Albina.
Is fuck. Shalmath present that he have.
Yes, he is present. You guys see him speak to Bukafos a couple times. They seem to be somewhat at least on speaking terms. So
Yeah, I'm going to approach him.
okay. You approach him. He sees you. It's Albina. Good to see you. I'm glad you made it. Thank you for watching out for Sybil. She was not too much of a pain, was she?
I got to before him. Nothing that he could not handle.
Good, good.
I assume that you have made that you have seen your child present.
Grandchild, yes, I've seen him.
Yes. Have you spoken to him?
Very briefly. He's apparently taken into his head to look through the accounting books here. At least it keeps him out of trouble.
Yeah, I hear that he has been doing accounting work for Helena.
I wouldn't say that. At least he's just interested in the theories.
In the theories about accounting?
Oh, yes. Apparently the mathematics behind them are fascinating.
I had no idea that there are such a field of studies.
Yes, he has some idea of using mathematics to predict the future.
She raised an eyebrow, like a form of, forgot the word for it, but
Divination? No.
yes.
He says combining the works of Aristotle and Plato, he believes that there is a fundamental static force underlying the universe, and if he can discover the laws of mathematics that govern it, he can use those laws to predict what's going to happen with perfect accuracy.
I believe there is a pattern that can be discovered.
That's what he says, anyways. It's something he recently formulated, so he's just now getting started on it.
I'm curious. This is certainly something that bears investigating. If he believes there can be something to be. He has not yet learned about some of the secret allegiance of one of his patrons, I assume.
My grandchildren knows what he must know regarding my activities.
No, I mean about that he might be working with some of the Balai, that there might be Balai infiltrated in among his.
Have you asked him what he is doing here? Have you even spoken to him?
Only briefly.
I believe you should find the time to speak with him. I think you would find it illuminating.
She nods. I did not wish to approach him before spoken to him. Did not wish to overstep my boundaries. After all, he is your grandchild.
He has been released for a long time. I do love him dearly, but he is free to make his own mistakes and formulate his own way of life.
Yes, but I have not yet had the opportunity to say it. But I imagine that there such a boundary remains even after one is released from the and it is a two-way bound.
Yes, the strings of the heart do bind, even in our belated condition.
He gives him another courtesy. She says, "If you excuse me, I will take your advice and approach him myself now that I have spoken."
Please, enjoy yourself. Go on.
she departs from him and searches for Bucephalus. No, fuck, not Bucephalus. Fuck. The
Libris?
Carthaginian. Yes, Libers.
Yeah, he is kind of off by himself. He doesn't really get parties. So he's just literally just kind of standing there and looks lost.
I approach and offer him a hand. Liberus, you seem to be a bit at a loss. May I offer you my...
Oh. I am very pleased to speak with you.
Is he just trying to be polite or does he really mean it?
It's really hard to tell. He has this completely bland look on his face.
Can I try to find out with the empathy?
Yeah, it's going to be difficulty 9. Perception, empathy. Very nice. He's not upset. I'll put it like that.
Have you... I know that it's not the kind of thing that normally be... that normally find... normally be your interests, but I hope that you are enjoying yourself.
Well... I will say that this is at least the size of the parties at Carthage, and I've never understood those either.
What do you mean? What are they
Well,
like?
I understand why mortals do it. They need to relieve stress. It pulls them together as a community. As for Canites, it seems to me that parties are a method designed to trigger conflict.
Doesn't the parties of Carthage bring the Canaanites together and celebrate?
Well, it is the same everywhere. Everywhere I've ever been. Someone strong invites. They invite their friends, and their friends invite a few to look down upon. And then a select few go around and pretend that everyone's having a good time when it's obvious that they've invited several just to feel better about themselves. Then a few insults are exchanged, and eventually they now have more political fodder until the next party.
That sounds not very productive.
You are correct. It is not productive.
Well then, perhaps mind if I ask you about how have you been doing? What have you been occupying your mind lately?
Mathematics. Woefully inadequate here.
Yes. I hear from Elena that you have been working as her accountant, assisting her in the numbers department.
Well, not her personal treasury as such, but the history here. Looking for patterns. It's actually been quite nice. Very quiet. Able to concentrate.
Patterns to the history, circles of happenings. See what happened in the past has been occurred again. See there's anything, any intervals, regular intervals between occurring.
Well, if you have studied the mathematical theories of Archimedes and Pythagoras, you can combine some of the proofs and attempt to search through the model of the atom as proposed by Aristotle, attempting to look for a mathematical control amongst them all using their combined theories. I have decided to try to apply that and try to find that similar pattern in terms of humanity. And the easiest way to start there is with goods and services, food, births and deaths.
Have you applied this to other cities, or it is your first?
Oh, this is my first. Unfortunately, running around dealing with Hannibal and his idiotic feud has impeded me greatly.
Surely, this has given you an opportunity to visit other cities at the very least.
Understand something. I'm here because I want the same thing you want. I want peace. Dodging Hamilcar's absurd vision, his willing pawn Hannibal, and everyone who's bought into it, makes travel more difficult. Come on, you have seen the villages destroyed by fire. How many manuscripts were hidden or used as kindling?
She stays silent for a
What?
second at here.
What happens if Hannibal actually storms the walls of Rome?
The archives and everything else will be lost. Yeah,
It will. What happens if Rome storms Carthage? Same thing. This war is stupid. There is no profit in it.
And what else? But what else do you suggest?
That's why I'm here. I want peace. I am here to help. I merely took advantage of the time afforded me to work on my own theory, as I'm sure you and your coterie did as well.
To help for peace? Do you mean that you believe Carthage and the kindred of Carthage can be brought into this alliance against me?
No, I believe that if Mithras is successful in entering the fray, it will drag on the war. I believe that instead of coming to a stalemate, which is what I would like to see happen, and everyone just drop it, either the war will drag on for many more years, or it will provide the boost Hannibal needs to destroy the knowledge and Cainites of Rome.
You mentioned a field. What do you mean? What field? A field there is.
Ask
Have you
Artemis.
been-
Ask your patron.
Artemis patron, Camillus.
It's jealousy. That's it. Nothing more or less. Jealousy. Each city is jealous of the other. The wealth, the power, the reputation. And for some, including your own patron, it's personal.
How so?
Come now, has not Artemis explained the Peloponnesian War? Sparta's
shows-
aggression against Athens?
Yeah, she shows very much contempt for your kind.
Yes. She has made it personal, and she will not rest until she gets her revenge. What she perceives as revenge. She simply wants the satisfaction of a straight-up fight.
I Master Fighter 2, the uh, Bruja himself, with Carthage itself, with the Xen as a whole.
Unfortunately, there are those in power now who have Hamilcar's ear that want the same thing Artemis wants. They want to fight. We have struggled very hard to keep them from becoming a supermajority. The internal politics of Carthage are not really my thing. I paid attention to them, but I'm not good at them. Just understand there are factions in Carthage, some who do not want this war, and they are doing their best to keep the peace. And I'm one of them.
I see. Forgive me if I overstep my boundaries, but allow me to be a bit um, daring the next thing that I will say. Are you aware that some of your compatriots might be working with the
I assume you have proof of this.
we met um, we met one of them in the city of what is the city? Corinth. I,
Um, Low cry.
we met one of
And
them.
you met her beforehand in another city in Italy. I can't.
I
Etruria
think
was the name. Was the region. Anyways.
Yes, but I do not think I remember that meeting in Italy. I don't think Albina remembers it. I believe she failed her memory. Mm. We met one of them with the prince of the city of Locry and Palais.
Mm-hmm. I believe I know who you're speaking of. I think you have perceived her as, I believe you call her Malaga. Yes, I remember her being there in Locry. Malaga has the ear of the lover of the founder of my clan in Carthage. And according to Malaga, and according to rumor, she survived a vile assassination attempt. While in the region of Etruria. According to her, she was attacked by a Salubri warrior, and it is only her skill with obfuscate that saved him, that saved her own skin. Is that the incident you're speaking of?
Yes, but I doubt that was obfuscate involved in this. For we have in our travels along Greece some decades past.
out of character. Bring up the green fire.
Yes, we have met a site of a massacre where we believe a ritual has been carried out by the Balai to resurrect one of their own.
And you have proof that, again, you have proof in hand. Proof that I could take back to Carthage and it would completely change their minds about what happened there.
Mhm. Besides that, we know that she has made use of that she and her compatriots have made use of Balai abilities. They have been able to conjure green fire,
Yeah.
whose very essence has filled us with disgust. That is Acadia, yes, but she has with Acadia back in the Corinth or Corfu, the city. Yes, but she has with Acadia.
All right. Um, It's troubling. I will have to spread the word. You will notice that she's not here.
Yes. I assume she's not as interested in the numbers as you are.
Malaga is a Ventru. Malaga is the Childa of the Prince of Corinth, and was sent to Carthage as a gesture of friendship.
Her, the other child of the Prince of Corinth, Christina of the Acadia, is the one responsible for the green flag, as I mentioned. If they share the same sire, and one of them is Balai.
Mm. It is a leap in logic to assume that just because they have green fire makes them Balai.
Mm, fair enough. But you should also know uh, that we have also seen them capable of as working with demonic entity.
Are you sure they were demonic entities and not creations of the Zamisi?
No, we are not. I do not believe so at the very least.
Because as you have saw in Apollonia, and I believe my sources tell me that was you, there are Zamisi allies to the cause. To the cause of Carthage. I will be specific.
I cannot be sure that they are not dismissing creations. No.
Your words merit much consideration. Do not think that I blow them off as ravings. I have been suspicious of Malaga for many years. I believe that she is part of the rot that has brought this conflict to bear. I will, as a gesture of openness, if I discover anything solid, I will let you know.
In my gesture of openness and hopefully friendship with you, allow me to make the promise to you that should this investigation of yours earn you enemies among the Carthaginians and you need to flee, I will do my utmost to ensure that you have a safe place in Rome.
I appreciate that. And he actually does sound genuinely grateful for that one.
She gives him a, she slowly approaches him, uh, and then she gives him a quick hug.
Yeah, he
Trying
stiffens
to,
up like, oh God, no, 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 not physical contact.
uh, and then she steps away, truly pleased smile on her face. And then Curtis, thank you for your time. Uh, Fuck, I always forget his name. Libras. Libras.
You could literally call him library because it's Latin for library.
And then I step back and let him return to his own.
His own comfortable wallflower spot.
See, what we assume is just awkwardness is actually really hardcore obfuscate training.
Yeah.
All right, the party's wrapping up. Everybody's kind of gathered back. You've had many conversations. Um, Um, everything seems to be wrapping up. No fights broke out. Everything seems to have gone well, and uh, everybody's departing, getting ready to go to their rooms. Servants are already beginning to clean up. It's maybe 4 o'clock in the morning, and you can tell just from looking at the humans seem really tired. The human party guests have long since left to go to bed, and the servants. These are probably different servants than you saw earlier. These are probably guys who got up early instead of people staying up late.
Okay. Hmm. So wait, how much are the beer?
Like I said, it's about 4 o'clock in the morning. You got maybe 2 hours before the sun starts coming up.
Okay, cool. Is the after party guests right now? Standing there in the after
Like I
party.
said, most everybody's breaking apart. So if there's something you need done last minute, it's coming up on the last minute.
But I would like to check what Helena is up to at this point.
She is preparing herself to end the party as well. She's issuing last minute instructions to the servants, making sure that the conference room is set appropriately. She's literally pacing out where the chairs are spaced, making sure every last little detail is perfect.
Understand.
So, as her party guests have departed, she has made her excuses, left the party, and is seeing to these after little details for tomorrow.
Okay. Seems it's time for us to leave too.
Okay, you guys all hit the bed. You get up the next morning, or the next evening, I should say. Spend a point of blood. You've regained willpower. During the day, they have completely cleaned the palace, top to bottom.
Alright.
An army of servants hit it. As you are waking up, you know that somewhere in the palace, all these conference participants are also waking up.
Do we see
And
any
the
of
only thing on
them
their
here?
mind, no, you are in your own quarters. And the only thing on, the only thing on their mind is some very complex plans. How can I get what I want out of this?
How can we not?
Yeah.
And for us, it's how can we not die?
I think we've tarried here long enough. It might be worth looking into getting back to Rome.
Yes, I'm actually quite interested in meeting with Artemis. I have some special plans to talk with her, and this city is becoming boring and boring, faster and faster, the more we stay here. And honestly, I spent too much time in Greece. It would be cool to see a new culture, a new society, and most oftenly I hear Rome is quite fabulous. Is it true, my dear?
It's it's an interesting site. There's there's a lot to
Fuck is
take
that?
in.
Fuck is that? Sorry, I was scared a little bit with the voice in the background. Sorry.
Oh, but before I forget, out of character, I'd like to try and um try and find some of the wallwort herbs and send them over to the quarantine area.
Your best bet's to have a servant do that.
My ghoul can do that for you, Het. He's quite fond of herbs, and he can arrange the right meetings or
Yeah.
plug it. he can handle it. You don't have to worry.
Okay.
Okay. Well, the ghoul
Otherwise,
asked you guys for some money to go buy them.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you have to give money to him. And whatever money he asks, I add like 2 more to it.
He just asked for money, whatever you guys want to give, so he can go buy them.
Okay. Yeah. 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 So if you have money, you have to give it to him, to buy the herbs.
We'll say that I give enough that I temporarily lose dotting resources.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Okay. I don't.
Alright. But he'll
Okay.
take it. And so he heads off to go see some people.
I whisper to his ear, keep the rest.
Right. Yeah, he heads off to go see some people about buying some herbs. Or finding them, one of the two.
And beyond that, we need to get back home. Obviously we need to wait for the ghoul to come back before we head off, but we can book passage.
Right. Where's the Ihamus? Will he come with us, or did he already left the city now?
Oh, he'll come with you guys.
Okay, nice.
He's just been off doing his own thing, enjoying it, learning, enjoying himself, staying out of trouble, not descending into potentially endless caverns where he might die.
Yeah. Was he in the party, by the way?
Yeah, he was around.
Okay. Right.
He was very busy chatting everybody up. Alright, so you guys pack everything up, and you leave the palace, right?
I believe not. Maybe we should do it then.
Do what?
I asked that maybe Ihamus should handle the negotiations with the ship's captain to take.
I mean, he can. Sure, he can do that.
Yeah.
So he heads out while you guys are doing other stuff. What are you doing?
What we are doing? Before we leave, I would like to talk with my mentor one last time. For Paul, I will not see him for a long time.
He is unavailable.
Fuck this shit. Okay. What can we do? I go ask El Coterie members what they want to do. Maybe they will influence me in a way. So yeah, I will stick with whatever they do. So Labiana, come, sit, guys, come, get up here, get up. Yeah, the moment was not pleasant at that night, so let me ask it again. So, like, to share the knowledge you have, Labiana, the power over the spirits, dead bodies, I thought that I could give my whatever I have, which is obfuscate, animalism, and potence, which I believe, honestly, animalism and obfuscate is pretty powerful. And considering the curse we bear together, even if it's diverse, it still has same effect on mortals. I thought it would be a decent trade.
So obfuscate. This is this ability to
It's you
the
see the
illusion of
right. You know the times when you guys search for me and you just don't find. That's what obfuscate does. And on mortals, it's too easy. On kindreds, there's a possibility they will see you. This possibility, of course, increases as the kindred gets older, even more so if the kindred is older than you. But by time, you can even suppress them. It is a very safe way to just pass through the society without getting any problems. It saved my ass plenty of times, and it's probably saving some kindreds as at the moment too.
indeed. Likewise, potence, I understand, is the ability to enhance one's strength.
It's I like to define it as ability to wreck shit. Uh, I mean, I do not look strong, not at all, but I am compared to humans, of course, at this point. But even with the slightest potence I have, my proficiency in potence, even if it's the slightest, I can ensure you that it is pretty strong one, and your grip becomes truly powerful too. And considering the creatures we are, having a good grip is always a good thing against both human and kindred. Not against werewolves, sadly, because they can bite back and it will be much worse than us. And the animalism, well, it's like, how can I say it? It's everything one would need to survive both in nature and in a civilization where there's too many buildings and too many openings. You hear where your ears will not reach. You can touch stuff that your hands would not. You can listen stuff that if would be found out, the result would be, well, execution. But then again, it can't be traced back. For how can you connect a rat to an, well, a creature such as us? And they are, how to say it? They are like one-use things, the rats. You use them, they act fast, they give a result fast, but afterwards, they are pretty useless. So they're not the greatest to track something. And the rest are only one thing. In wild, you will not find humans, but with animalism, the food, the blood is not even a slightest problem. You can call fighters for you, which I did. If you remember these thugs on the road, they were attacked by the bunch of birds. That was my thing. That's something you can do. As I said, it's pretty decent. It can do anything, everything. And later on, it can even do stuff like subduing the one's spirit, one's beast. Or, well, giving away your beast, literally.
Hey, no. She kind of looks over it super thoughtfully for a second. Hmm. Well, not sure I'd have much use for animals. However, the others do sound somewhat intriguing and would be certainly interesting to experiment with.
I mean,
But let me ask you this: what indeed is your fascination with death, if you don't mind my
well,
what
first and foremost,
what intrigues you so much as that you would wish to harness its power?
well, first and foremost, I wish that what I did in immortal life could happen again in immortal life. That's the first thing. The second is, well, having power over the dead means you can approach things with a perception that is not gifted to most. And this perception will be quite fundamentally great for knowledge, which, well, our clan is pretty famous of. The knowledge is vast, and when you can reach to a dead, pull the dead. If that's how the power works, if you pull the dead and just ask question to it, well, what is a mystery then? I would say just a veil that can be approached without any problems. A veil that can be pierced through easily. And I thought, if I can have the power to pierce that veil to undead, well, it will be interesting.
Well, perhaps there could certainly be further discussions later on. I must consider this, and I will certainly most certainly get back to you.
Of course,
We
it's just
shall.
an offer.
Yeah, but I will definitely take your offer into
Yeah.
offer.
Well, we have
Consideration.
plenty of time. You can consider it how long you want. It's not a problem, really, my dear. I told you what I can give, and about that, I can offer you 3 major boons. Although we are country, so all the time we are probably doing some major boons for each other without actually asking for it, but yeah.
Of course. But,
For the
also,
record, in case the idea crosses anyone's mind, while I'd be perfectly willing to reveal small secrets, I cannot teach my gifts to any who have not sworn service to Set.
That's, well, seems...
This isn't just a social limitation. Without a degree of faith in his cause, you will find it quite impossible to use.
that I can certainly understand.
But still, I am, however, perfectly willing to teach my gifts of animalism and presence, and I would also again be willing to reveal individual secrets.
Well, I will certainly. I personally will certainly take that into consideration as well. I will say that with regards to anyone wishing to learn the secrets of death, to those who haven't already, you know, a minimal of knowledge. In a sense, it is kind of like what you say about your secrets. Even in death, there needs to be some sort of to master death, or to at least try and understand the power of death. There does, in a sense, need to be a degree of faith in its power in order to understand how it works, even to a small degree. But for those who have that face, I could, potentially be able to teach.
Well, I have faith in definitely evil and wicked. Look at me and our curse. So I'm sure I can have faith in other things too.
Hmm. So find us at a later time.
Take your time. I mean,
You
there's
guys have been
all
debating for about an hour and a half, 2 hours,
Yeah, we should probably
and
go for a time, skip over.
yeah, and
Yeah.
Ihamus comes slamming in through the doors, and he's screaming, "Pack your shit! Pack your shit! We gotta get the fuck out of here!" And he fucking grabs his trunk, and you see him pause for a second. You all know he's spending blood, and he just picks his trunk up and just starts booking it out.
Did my ghoul came, by the way? Did my ghoul arrive?
Yeah, he's back.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Maybe he picks his backpack. I pick my backpack, and we are ready.
What happened?
I
And as she says this, she is packing up.
Yeah, Abuna does the same.
Yeah.
as is-
He's screaming out, "Leave the laundry! Gotta get the fuck out of here!" Perception awareness or alertness roll, smell based. Diff 7.
He's taking us to werewolves.
smell based.
Perception, sorry, what?
Perception alertness.
Smell based, okay. I don't think that makes difference.
Yep.
Difficulty is 7.
Yes, it's 6 with auspex if you have auspex.
Oh, 7. So that makes
Mhm.
0 success on me.
So hold up. Yeah, I'm just gonna remind myself that I have all specs. Bloody hell. What's my turn? Yeah.
Okay. I have 1 success is enough.
Well, it's there we go. Labiana, you are absolutely certain that the amount of smoke smell that you smell is not usual. It's not normal.
Uh-oh. Something's burning.
Someone's
Humans. Probably humans that's been quarantinized. They're probably burning the people.
As whoever is taking his advice and getting the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
I believe all of us are doing right now.
Yeah.
All of us say we are packing our shit.
You make your way out in the hallway and it's empty. And you kind of catch sight of him running down the hall, making a turn. As you guys follow him, you kind of look out the windows where there's arches carved and cut, and there's now outside the sanctuary of your rooms, can actually hear the sound of fighting.
What? Okay. Oh shit. Well, I'm still following Ihamus. I'm interested, but I'm following Ihamus because it does not sound cool.
Yeah, as you guys bust out of the palace, you go sprinting down the hill, and as you're doing this, you realize there's other Canaanites doing the same thing, getting out of there.
Are they walking parallel to us, or are they just rushing through us with celerity?
It seems like all of you guys are headed towards the river that runs at the foot of the hill, or the little stream. Actually, not really that big of a river. And there are several boats right there, and they are leaping on it, and people are rowing the boats away. And as you look back at the palace, you see flames beginning to rise.
Oh boy.
What? Helena, I'm curious what's happening to Helena. Is this, wait, is this the guy? The big boy, what was his name? I forgot it. Our enemy.
Not.
Is this the magic venture? This is doing. I'm curious. I just want to be like obfuscate Iron Man,
No.
but I will not.
And no time, Sybil. Come on.
We gotta go.
You guys jump on one of the boats, and it takes off. Goes down the stream, around some corners and curves. There's a guy pulling and a guy rowing, trying to keep the thing on course as they go as fast as they can.
Shouldn't we, as vampires, do that? Wouldn't it be faster?
No, not really.
Okay.
These guys know the stream, you don't.
Okay. I would like, if they are taking control of the thing, I just want to look at the mansion while we are going off. I just want to see what's going to, what's happening.
Pretty
there
soon,
probably.
trees and stuff begin to hide the side of it, but you can still smell the smoke. It's obvious it's been attacked.
Does it rise to sky? The smoke, I mean.
No, it is not getting out of control.
Interesting.
We've been told by who?
He doesn't know. He saw the, as you get pulled down. Ihamus explains that he was on his way back and he saw a bunch of crowds, 3 or 4 different groups of people, marching up to the palace with torches and knives and pitchforks, and they looked to be all villagers. And they began throwing their torches on flammable stockpiles and attacking the guards.
What? Interesting. I'm curious, is it Olympia using her venture shit or just something else?
So you guys, you get, the river empties out right near the harbor, and Ihamus is like, come on, I got us a ship right before all this happened. We gotta go.
Yeah. While I would like to know what happened, safety first.
Yeah. Although, yeah.
You guys run. If you stop, you are getting left behind.
I'm not stopping. I'm following.
Following.
He sprints, leads you guys to the ship, gets on board, throws a shit down on the deck, runs over, grabs the gangplank as soon as you're aboard, and he rips it up, and he starts going, go, go! They're casting off ropes.
Too scared? Why are we so scared of Tom?
Now everybody on board deck, perception plus alertness roll, sight-based, diff 6. If you have sailing knowledge of any kind, it's difficulty 4.
No.
We need 5 with Auspex?
Yes, this Auspex does help.
There always has to be a 1. There always has to be a rolled 1.
Okay, only Labiena sees this as the ship begins to slowly pull away with a line of other ships leaving the harbor. She looks out at her super eyes, those Auspex-enhanced eyes, catch sight of a foreign vessel, a vessel she's never seen anything like it before. And standing on board the back prow of that vessel, on some sort of platform, there are 2 kindred sitting there, or standing there. And she looks out and she sees them, and even from the distance of the harbor, you could swear your eyes meet. And one of them, who is very dark, kind of tan skin, Black beard, long black hair. You could swear he meets your eyes and starts laughing as the ship pulls away. And the two of them wave at you as you leave.
How do they look?
What do you guys see?
How do they look like again?
What do you guys see?
Well,
Yeah.
only Labiana got to see them, and I'm about to put some pictures up.
So I scream to others, what do you guys see? What do you guys see? While checking it.
Hmm. There's a ship I don't recognize.
Where? Point me towards the ship. Where is it?
So yeah, she'll kind of point out the ship to the others. Ever seen anything like it?
Can I see it after Labiana points it out?
You can see it, but you're getting to be. You can see two figures, but you're getting to be too far away to make out anything of
But
detail.
Anything about the ship though?
It's
Can I see
foreign.
it?
You've literally never seen anything like it.
There is no name to or any writing.
It is.
on the
You have never seen anything like it. It's foreign. You've never seen it in Athens.
Can I summon while we are near? Can I?
Actually, I'll
summon
tell
a
you
crow?
what. Since you did spend time in Athens, intelligence plus academics stiffs 8.
Okay. Intelligence academics.
Can I
Can
make
I
this
vi-
roll as
can I
well, or
vi-
just hit?
Just him. And this is only because he spent so much time in Athens.
Okay.
I have a question. Why I can't find the academics? Academics. Oh, here. I also have a question. Can I force my curiosity here and spend a willpower point?
You have a flaw curiosity?
No, I do not. That's
Okay.
just excuse for using a willpower point. That's it. Nothing special. Yeah, can I spend a willpower point for?
No.
Okay. And difficulty 8?
Yes. Pictures are on Discord.
Cool.
Okay. This vessel seems very, very similar to the descriptions you read of the Persian invasion, Sybil.
Persian invasion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is a Persian ship, I believe. I will. I will use my Edict memory to remember this. I will keep this in my mind. The ship's origin.
And we're vaguely aware that Persia's where Mithras has mostly been staying, right?
Yeah, you are absolutely aware of that. It was told to you.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. Mithras presumably heard what was going on.
Like I guessed, out of character. Also in character, excluding magic went through. Mithras. He seems fierce. Taking down so many kindreds while they are here. Well, I should listen to Assamites and he said who I am fiddling with, who we are fiddling with. Not something to be fiddled with, it seems. This person, individual. Well, we have survived. I hope Helena, dies.
Anybody who wants to can roll wits plus leadership.
Wits plus what?
Leadership. And you can't roll it if you don't have it. Not for this one.
Right. Okay, then.
Would the enchanting voice applies? Or...
No, this is to figure something out.
Difficulty?
6. Wow, Albina rocked that one.
Okay.
Albina, not a military tactician, but you recognize what he's doing. He is demonstrating to them that he is not afraid of them, that he can hit them where they feel powerful.
It's a fear tactic.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
This was a fear tactic and a warning shot. Mind your own business.
Okay. She let the others know as much.
Maybe while we're on the ship, we should join the Mitras.
No.
Why?
I don't know. He seems pretty, well, a decent dude, that's for sure.
All right, they do not head straight north. They head west and slightly north because they are attempting to avoid the dangerous coast by Corinth.
Who? They? What
The
do you
ship.
mean by they?
The ship.
Our ship.
Yes.
Okay.
When you sleep tonight, when you sleep today's day away, and wake up, I am actually going to give them a sailing roll.
Sorry, you said say, but your voice cut down.
I'm going to give them a sailing roll.
Can I let use my weather control to try and assist? You know, make favorable.
Yeah, sure. This will be
Yeah,
summoning
sure.
wind.
Oops.
Nice, cool.
So let me just check to make sure I get the difficulty right.
Yep, so there's going to be 2 rolls for you. Number 1 is going to be to summon the wind, and number 2 is going to be to put it in the right direction that they want.
Botch the roll, we go towards the Mitras ship. We get captured by them. Story turns into us joining Mitras and betraying Artemis.
So make your roll to summon it first.
Yeah, hold on, let me just double check the.
I believe it's willpower.
Level. Yeah, I'm just checking because the
Difficult.
level affects the difficulty.
Wind, I believe, is level 2.
Level 3 actually.
Level 3. So that's diff 6 then. Current willpower, difficulty 6.
Right.
Awesome. You summon wind. And now an intelligence plus occult roll to direct it in the proper manner. As they explain to you how what direction they want it to come from, intelligence occult, direct it.
Wouldn't it be funny if you used dexterity and...
This is going to be difficulty 8 though.
Oh shit. Ooh,
Outstanding.
Nice.
The wind picks up, it begins to gust, and the ship begins to cut through the water. By the time you get up the next evening, you have made port in a small village where if you need to feed, you can feed.
Excellent.
How much time is it going to take for us to arrive Rome?
A little over a week.
A little over a week. So, precisely, can you give a precise number?
No.
5, 6, 7. So if we say 10, it will bring me to the... I would like to feed. I would like to make it one quick hunt. Let's see. Can I use which subterfuge for hunting? Is it okay?
This is going to end up being a Wit's Ledger domain.
Which ledger domain? That's also fine. That's also fine.
Can I make my normal roll?
Unless you are attempting to get animals, it's going to be Wit's Ledger domain.
Sorry? Chris?
Unless you're attempting to get an animal, it's wits plus legerdemain.
Okay.
Very
Difficulty?
small village. Goes to bed early.
Difficulty?
6.
Cool. Okay, that's
Oh.
good.
I'll go for animals.
I take 2 blood point. So,
Okay,
no
you
danger.
successfully sneak into somebody's house and take 2 blood.
Right. Would obfuscate drop the difficulty?
No,
Okay.
just keeps you from getting caught.
Okay. Well, I hunt and go back to ship, of course. The last picture is Mitras, right?
First picture is Mithras. Second picture is somebody else.
For some reason, the first picture isn't loaded for me. Can you try it again in the Discord?
Ooh. So it takes a little over 2 weeks, actually. Pretty close to 3
Jesus.
to get to Rome.
You lied to us.
Yeah.
You
So-
lied
Yep.
to us.
Well, if you hadn't
Sorry.
insisted, I'd check.
We really need to make sure we
definitely
feed a
need to
lot
stop
then.
along the way.
That was an animalism check to summon a wolf. I chomp it. I believe a werewolf. Oh, not a werewolf. A wolf. I'm not summoning a werewolf. I'm not completely mad.
Okay, you get 1 wolf.
And
Comes
yeah,
out.
I'm draining it dry.
Alrighty.
Just 2 weeks. Okay, and we are.
Well, you actually have to
and-
sail around Italy instead of by Sicily, or around Sicily. You can't cut through it like that because of the war. You gotta go all the way around it. Close to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand. So we will have to walk at some point, right?
It'll put you right at the port city. So
But we can still stop somewhere on the road, maybe, and one time hunt. I don't know.
there's gonna be several
Is there
spots where
any-
you can hunt.
Okay.
It's just the difficulty of sailing is gonna be pretty tough at a couple of spots.
Okay, maybe our lovely head can use his wind.
So Hatshepsut, you get 2 blood points out of a wolf. Sybil, you got 2 blood. Laviena, are you feeding?
So how far along in this journey are we at this point?
Day 2 of like 18.
To 2 blood again. I should probably feed. But did you say this role was involving legerdemain?
Yes.
So I don't have legerdemain.
All right, so stiff 7 then. Just wits.
It was wits legerdemain. Yeah,
Yep.
Wits if 7. Alright,
You can spend willpower on this if you want.
I probably should.
Someone is cursing us.
Okay, that's outstanding. You are easily able to find somebody because the village is so small. You're only going to find 1 person. But you know what? I'll let you find 2 people that are sleeping. With 4 successes, hey, you find 2 people. You gotta take how many? You take it from each.
I guess I can safely take 2 from
Yep. So you get 4. All right. Give me a second, fellas. For anybody watching this on YouTube, we are gonna do a little bookkeeping, get everyone back to Rome, and then we're gonna pause from there. And I will be sure to let you know if a botch happens, and then we have to roll for survival. So thank you guys for watching, and have a good night. So, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta tell you, I stopped the recording at a bad time. We were doing a feeding scene, Hatshepsut botched, ended up killing one guy, and the other guy in the little fishing hut escaped, ran out into the sea, where Albina took care of him. The whole village woke up, and the ship had to get out of there real quick. Because of that, it seemed like bad luck just dogged these guys the whole voyage home, and at the very end, they were captured by some enemy vessels. We will pick up there next session. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'd love to hear from you. Be sure to drop me a line if you like it, have any suggestions, and once again, have a great evening.